Brizy Pro comes with a great amount of layouts ready to use. And in this video, we're going to look at how you can make this contact form from our Architekt layout in Brizy Pro all by yourself from scratch. Begin on your page by clicking on Start Building Your Page and then choose Add a Blank Block. Let's do a little bit of padding first for this block. I will go up here to the settings and then click on Settings and More Settings. And then over here, the padding is currently linked. I will decouple them. I'll keep the top padding at 75. And then for the bottom, I'm going to type in 60, reduce it a little bit. The block comes in by default with two columns. I will begin by removing both of them. Right-click on this column, choose Delete, and right-click on the second column and choose Delete. For the little line here at the top, that is actually an image, we're going to bring in an image element. Go to Add Elements, grab Image Element and drag and drop it. Click on the image, select Image up here and then Image and choose the image element over here. Select. This is, of course, totally out of proportion, so we need to go and fix this. Settings, and then over here, the first thing we will do is for the height, make sure that is at 100%. Then for the size, we reduce it now until we get to the size that it is meant for, which is 5%. Going to type that in there. If you cannot see what's going on here, the easiest way to do that is to add a blank block just for reference. Then go to Reorder Blocks, grab this one and drag it at the top. Now you have a better idea that when you click on an element and you click on the settings, the contextual settings menu will be at the top, much easier for you to work around. Before we begin working on the text, I want to go and set my global stylings the same as the Pro layout Architekt. To do that, go to Styles on the left, and up here you will see the current style is currently set to the Brizy default. Click on that and choose Architekt over here. This will change our color palette as well as the styling options for typography. Now, if I go to Add Elements, grab my text and drag it under here, I can just apply those default settings. I'm going to triple click on the text here and then type in caps contact, enter return, reach us. By pressing enter and return on your keyboard, you effectively designate two paragraphs that can be styled independently. So let's style the first one. Click on typography, and now if you choose any of these presets from typography, it will apply that global style that was brought in with the Architekt layout. For contact, we're going to choose subtitle and everything is applied. No need for us to make any changes except align it in the middle. Next, click in the paragraph with Reach Us, go to typography and then choose heading 2. The style is already applied. We're going to just change the color, go to colors and choose the first swatch on the left and then center align it as well. Nothing more for us to do. With that global styling brought in, everything is styled from the beginning. We will repeat this element up here so it can give us some nice balance to our header. You click on the element and then choose Duplicate. Click within the element that you've duplicated it until you see the blue circle and drag and drop it under the heading. Now you've got a very nice layout for your heading here. Before we bring in the form, I want to put the form within a container so it doesn't stretch the entire box. Currently, you can see our box is quite wide, and a form that wide will just look very strange. To constrain the form, we can use a row element. Grab the row element and drag it until you see that thick gray line and drop it. It comes in by default with two columns. We're only going to use one. Right-click on either of them and then choose Delete. Now we have a column, which is the blue container, and we have a row up here, which is this dotted container. Click on this one and go to the settings for the row. Here you see we have control over the width of the row as it will display within the box of the block. I'm going to reduce this to 70%, double click there and type in 70%. Now when I bring in my form element, it will be constrained to this width. Let's do that. Go to Add Elements, grab our form over here, drag and drop, and we can begin working on the form. Let's first do the fields, and after that we do styling for the fields. Click within the field, and to change the label or the name of this field is very easy. You just type and highlight and as you would with any other text element. So I'm going to call this email address. Click up here on the field element and then we change the width to 50%. Double click in there and change it to 50%. Now I will duplicate this field. Once I duplicate it, a field next to it will appear, and because this is also at 50%, it will be adjacent to it. That's great, and I'm going to change this to a phone number field. Triple click inside the field to highlight all the text of the label, and then type in phone number. We have to go and change the type of field. Do that, click on field, and then up here, field type. Click on the drop-down box and select number. Next, the select option. This will allow us to give the user options to tell us what this inquiry is all about. Select, I'm going to double click on that and just type in subject. In the option 1 field, I'm going to triple click to highlight everything and then type in freelance. For the next one, option 2, I'm going to triple click to highlight it and type in business. And then I'm going to add a new option. Click in there and type affiliate. And to add it, you have to click on the arrow here on the right. Now I've got these 3 options that people can select from. Going to click outside and then double click on paragraph to highlight that and type in there message. Now that we've changed the labels, let's go and work on the styling. I'm going to click up here in the email address to get my toolbar and then go to typography. The form comes in at custom typography, so it's not drawing the styles from your default global styles. To apply a global preset style, click here and I'll choose paragraph for that, and it will draw in the Architekt global styling for this paragraph setting. Change the color next, and you have 3 options: the background of the fields, the label in the fields, and also the border. Let's begin with the background, and I'll choose this swatch over here and then reduce the opacity to around 25%. Next, click on label and I'll choose this one, make it a little bit darker. And for the border, we can choose the same swatch to give it a little bit of a better outline. I may just reduce that opacity also a little bit. The final part then for the form is to style the button. First, we will change the text. Double click on the word button to highlight the text and then type in send message. The button options are over here. Click on that. We change the size by adding custom values. Go to these 3 little dots, click on that. And for the width, I'm going to put that at 49 pixels. And for the height, I'm going to put it at 19 pixels. The rest of the settings are good for me. The only thing I want to do now is go to icon and remove the icon. The button looks good. Let's see what happens if we hover over it. It gives us that light color. But for this one, let's change the hover color. Access the colors and then activate the hover. And we choose this color for the BG, which is background, the swatch all the way to the far left. And now it will display that swatch as I hover over it. Our form is done and it looks really good. Below, we'll add some contact details. We bring in a text element again, add elements, grab the text and drop it when you see the new one under the row. Make sure that it's not placed within the column or the row, but beneath the row settings. I'll triple click to highlight all the text and then type in my address. Enter return for the email address. And now that allows us to style these 2 paragraphs separately, just like we did up here. Let's style this one first. We don't need to make any changes to typography because the text element will bring in by default the paragraph styling, which is what we want to apply here. Even the color is what we want. The only thing we do is center align it by clicking on the alignment. Very similar for the next paragraph, except we're going to change the color here by clicking on this purple color swatch and then center align it. 3 more things that we have to do to this as I'm looking at the block, and that is that we need some spacing here between this element and the form. We grab our spacer and drag it there, and it comes in by default with 50 pixels, and I think that is what I want. To check, let's look at settings, 50 pixels. We're going to duplicate this spacer, right-click, duplicate, and then I'm going to click and drag on that spacer and bring it here between the form and the contact details at the bottom of the form to give it also space. Maybe this space is a tad too much, so let's click on it, settings, and reduce it to 40 pixels. The other thing to give it better alignment is that I'll go back to my form here, click on the button, and then also center align it so it's nicely center aligned with my contact details here at the bottom. And our form is done. Let's save it, update, and then we go have a look at our tablet and mobile displays to see if we need to make any changes. First up is our tablet display. And I think we can remove this block here at the top. It has served its purpose. Let's go back to the desktop view because deleting can only be done in the desktop view. Click on the settings and delete. Right, now we only have our form here. Let's go back into tablet to see how it looks. Very nicely displayed. And it looks good in tablet view. And then for mobile, also looking very, very good. But let's go and do the real test online. First, let's update to make sure that we still have what we've got. And then we go and click on the preview. Let's begin with the iPhone 7 to see how that will display on the iPhone 7. And this will be our form in the portrait view. We can change it to landscape view to see if it will still look okay. I can use this little thing as a finger to pretend that I'm scrolling through it and put it back into portrait view. Looks really good. What about our iPhone 8? Same. Very good display. Button looks good. And our information here at the bottom. Tested on a LG for something different. LG with a bigger display. Very nice. Let's see how it looks in the landscape view. Everything working fine. Tablet view up next with the iPad. Change the view and it looks good. And then if you just want to see how it's going to look on different desktop displays, you can also cycle through that to make sure that what you've done, we can just scroll up and down. Good. So we have passed the test of responsiveness. And now you know how to build this block from the Architekt layout in Brizy Pro. For more tutorials and more elements and more features, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also come and visit us at brizy.io and join our friendly community on our Facebook forum.